here for CAA football, the Blitz, as we continue.
And he may go the distance. Terrence
You're going to put yourself in a situation and win a lot of football games.
Welcome to CAA football, the Blitz, everyone. I'm Bobby Broyles, joined always by Scott Meyer. The second round of the playoffs is now upon us, but before we break down those matchups, Scott, we would like to take some time to recognize several of our student athletes representing CAA football as finalists for the Sports Network's 4 national awards. Let's begin with the Jerry Rice Award that goes to the FCS Football Freshman of the Year and a guy we saw play this past weekend in his first postseason game, Villanova quarterback John Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson in this category along with Jeff Williams of Delaware. You also take a look at Luke Rhodes of William & Mary, but certainly Robertson is the prohibitive favorite in this category. I can't see why he shouldn't win this award. The top freshman quarterback in the country just went over the 1,000-yard rushing mark against Stony Brook. Also averages nearly 160 yards passing on the season per game as well. So you take a look at those numbers. I think the CAA stands a chance to keep this honor in its fold after Terrence West won last season. John Robertson should be, I think, the Jerry Rice Award winner this season.
For the Buck Buchanan Award, that goes to the top defensive player in FCS. We will see a finalist and a past winner of this award in action this weekend in New Hampshire linebacker Matt Evans.
Matt Evans plays a big role in this weekend's game. We'll get to that later. Obviously, Matt Evans, you look at Stephon Robertson, James Madison, Cooper Taylor, Richmond, B.W. Webb, also on the list of William & Mary. Those three guys in particular, Taylor and Webb, ball-hawking guys in the defensive backfield. Robertson, a big hitter, but Matt Evans, third CAA player to win the award last season. Not sure that he lives up to the standards of last season, just given everything else across the landscape. But Evans, second leading tackler in the conference, among the top 20 in the country in terms of tackles. Their defense is one that has to step up this weekend in order for New Hampshire to advance.
Villanova is also getting recognition for the Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year, with head coach Andy Talley up for the honor after he led his team to a postseason berth and the nation's biggest turnaround this season.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think Andy Talley, and then obviously Richmond's Danny Rocco coming over from Liberty in this category. But Andy Talley goes from 2-9 overall last year, just 1-7 in league play this season. Picked to finish 8th in the league, wins the league's auto bid. Remarkable standards in turning that I don't think it's turning the program around. I think it's more just everybody got older and was able to accomplish things, and have John Robertson in your backfield is obviously a help for them.
And this performer has been exciting to watch all season long, to say the least, and he'll hopefully continue on this trend this weekend, as Old Dominion quarterback Taylor Heineke is a finalist for the Walter Payton Award given to the FCS football's most outstanding player.
Heineke is impressive. Obviously, Heineke has got to be one of the top 3 guys in this list, probably one that will get invited to Philadelphia for the awards banquet. You also look at Terrence West, the Rice Award winner last season, but obviously Heineke, leading passer in the country over the 4,000-yard mark. He holds the all-time league standard for yards per game in a season. Phenomenal numbers coming out of Heineke. Far and away the best quarterback in the country by my standards, at least. And I think he stands a chance to be recognized as the winner of this award.
The winners of the national awards will be honored at the Sports Network's annual awards banquet on Monday, December the 17th in Philadelphia. Now let's get to some highlights. The Villanova Wildcats were the lone CAA football team in action last week as they took on 2013 CAA football member Stony Brook. Let's take a look at those highlights from Long Island. The Villanova Wildcats traveled to Long Island to take on 2013 CAA football member Stony Brook in the first round of the 2012 FCS playoffs. We picked this game up in the second half. Villanova looking for momentum, down 14-0 as Craig James forces a fumble and Ronnie Akins is there for the recovery. Next play, it is quarterback John Robertson connecting with his receiver Joe Price for a 19-yard gain inside the Seawolves 40. This would lead to a Mark Hamilton 41-yard field goal as he drills it through the uprights to put the Wildcats on the board, Nova down 14-3. Fourth quarter, Wildcats down 20-3 as Robertson takes the snap and goes right up the middle of the Stony Brook defense for a 21-yard touchdown run to cut the Seawolves' lead to 10, but Stony Brook would rush for over 250 yards on the day and knock off Villanova 20-10 to advance to the second round of the FCS playoffs. The two remaining CAA football squads will be in action this weekend in the second round of the FCS playoffs. Let's start with the game you will be attending in Spartanburg, South Carolina, as the New Hampshire Wildcats meet the Wofford Terriers for a 2 o'clock kick on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. What do the Wildcats have to do to stop that Terriers triple option attack?
The defense has to get off the field, plain and simple. Go back to Matt Evans, obviously a Buchanan finalist. I think in particular they have to be focused on Eric Breitenstein, another one of those Peyton hopefuls coming from Wofford, the fullback, all-around running back for the Wofford Terriers. A triple option attack. The key part of this is defense has to get off the field, limit the amount of yardage, limit the time of possession that Wofford has the ball for it to be key. I think one thing, too, to look at, New Hampshire's speed on defense. I think that might be something worth taking a look at, might give them an advantage or at least lend itself well to getting off the field, possibly something Wofford hasn't necessarily seen in terms of speed defense-wise. I think it's going to be a tough one. It's definitely going to be a close game. New Hampshire's offense also has to score every time it touches the ball.
The winner of that contest will have the privilege to take on either the defending national champion and the #1 seed North Dakota State Bison or South Dakota State. Also set for a 2 o'clock kickoff on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app is the Old Dominion Monarchs as they play host to the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina from the Big South. Scott, how do you see this one shaping up?
I just think Old Dominion is going to be too much for the Chanticleers. Old Dominion's offense, Taylor Heineke, Nick Mayers on the outside, a tandem of running backs in that stable, including Tyree Lee. They're just going to be too much for Coastal Carolina. I do think ODU's defense may get tested early on, as has always been the case for ODU's defense, but normally stepping up to the challenge, obviously. But yeah, I think CAA football carries the day in this kind of game, having been tested in the conference action for Old Dominion. So look for ODU to move on. Quarterfinal matchup may be a rematch from last season when ODU was eliminated.
Like you said, Old Dominion, if they were to win, they would take on the winner of Georgia Southern, a team that eliminated the Monarchs in last year's playoffs, or Central Arkansas. So those are your CAA football matchups for this week. Scott and I will be here next week for another episode of The Blitz, where we hope to continue to break down those two teams' run to a national championship. Remember to stay with CAAfootball.com for all the latest information going on around the league. Have a great week, everyone.